What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to be breaking down a trade that we took live, of course, in the Discord, live traded, live executed. We do this beautiful trade, as you can see, and I'll break down how we found this trade, why we took this trade, and how we executed it. If you want to learn from me, if you want to trade live every single day, make sure you hit the links down below. It's my birthday, a day ago, I think, when we posted this, because on February 8th. So make sure you drop me a happy birthday down there, and let's get straight into the video. This is on NQ, Nasdaq, QQ, whatever, tech sector, right? We're trading tech sector, and we were looking, we caught some longs after this nice dip right here. So let's remove that and see why we look into this trade. First of all, we had this 830 huge green candle, which was, I believe it's something to do with CPI, not actually CPI, but something to do with CPI. And big rain, and then sold off. So a lot of people were probably feeling bearish, like, hey, this is kind of ugly. It's big rain, rejected really hard, and then boom, it's starting to sell off, right? So that could be the case, but also we have to go back to the 50 minute, you see very strong bullish trend. So there's a couple things here to note. We had this support right here, as you guys can see, the support here in the 15 minute. As you can see, we hit it, and then we quickly bounce back up. That was not the only reason why we took this trade. Is actually not the main reason we took this trade at all. I noticed on the 5 minute, this right here was the liquidity that we were looking for. So we're looking for liquidity, which was the lows. In this case, was right under here, and as well as we had this fair value gap right here. We have these two fair value gaps on the 5 minute, and if you actually zoom out on the 50 minutes, you'll see a larger fair value gap. Again, lining up again, we have right here liquidity that was built up from the pre-market before the CPI news, and then we had this 50-minute fair value gap. We were also holding above this yellow line, which was the 4 p.m. close, or the previous day 4 p.m. close, right? Now, to add two more pieces of confluence, we also had the 200 MA right there. 200 MA on the 5 minute usually likes to dictate where price, what is the worst price might potentially go. And lastly, we had this golden pocket pull from this 1430 bottom all the way up to that CPI candle right here, right on the side. Then boom, we took the long position. We were looking potentially for it to fill this fair value gap and touch all the way to the previous day close. We would like to add it some more. Fortunately, we did not. So we enter roughly around there. We did stop right below this yellow line, which also would have been a fair value gap, and the golden pocket failed us. So that would have been, hey, the trade here is not a workout for us. Our trade was literally almost spot on. We were targeting all the way up here at first, so it's a 1 to 3 risk reward. But then we let the runners run all the way up to about 100% profit on the contracts for money's expiration, which was roughly right here. Overall trade 1 to 8 from exact bottom to exact top, but realistically with the PTs and all that, you probably bring down the stop loss. You bring it down to right here, which is 1 to 5 risk reward. Still an amazing trade for all intents and purposes for the trade, because when you take PTs, a lot of people say, oh my god, I took this 1 to 10 risk reward. But if you're taking multiple TPs, you have to think about, hey, what is the average of those TPs? How much are you taking those TPs? How much you left over, right? And then you have to be realistic to what your real risk reward was, or long term, you kind of screw yourself, kind of lying to yourself. I call this 20-hour trade, but in reality, after PTs, was a 1 to 10 hour. Again, still an amazing trade, but you have to be realistic with where your TPs might be. So some things that we had to learn from this video was, and there's more explanations. So I'm looking for confluences. What did I have? One, liquidity, right? Liquidity. So also we're going to that 10 a.m. flip, right? The 9:45 to 10 a.m. flip, that 15-minute potential time. So we had the time. 3, we had a fair value gap, so an imbalance in the market, which right here was this 15-minute imbalance right here. Fair value gap / imbalance. We had our EMA, which was in this case 200 EMA, bouncing on it. So we were above the 200 EMA, which one's direction was on our side. That's the way I like to look at EMAs, not really for resoursces, but to understand, hey, is the direction going my way or is it not going my way? And lastly, we had our golden pocket. So we had our Fibonacci tools. So we had our Fibonacci tools. We had also the previous day close, using that as our stop loss, and pretty much analyze how we had an amazing risk reward trade and how it's going to go in our favor. When you are trading, you want to have a checklist. So if you make a checklist of your trade, hey, my trades need time. Why can I press the I? Fair value gap, imbalance, liquidity, golden pocket, maybe an EMA or something else, previous day level. And now imagine you have all this and you give all this a point. So hey, if to be an A plus setup, I need every single thing in here, right? So I'm gonna give this 3 points, I'm gonna give this 3 points, 3 points, then I'm gonna give this 2 points, 1 point, 1 point, right? To importance to most important to listen more. So 3, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 points. An A plus setup will be a 13 point. So with 13 points, now let's say you don't have, let's say I do not have an EMA and a golden pocket. I remove 3 points. So now that's a 10 out of 13. So it's a 10 out of 13 setup. So maybe it's just a B plus setup. Still a good, decent setup, but that's how you kind of analyze how heavy or how light you should be going into a trade. For example, you don't have time, right? Now you only have for value gap liquidity. Now you in the previous day, so now you have a 7 out of 13. That's about a C setup. So if you build a checklist with, hey, this is my strategy and this is how it works, and this is what I need for my strategy to enter a trade, and you write a checklist and you write it down and you put it somewhere and you give everything assigning it to points. You can do this however you want. You can give it half a point, 1.5 points. The point doesn't matter, but in its aspect, it's like, hey, these are the most important things, and if I can remove this and understand how good or how bad of a setup I am taking, I can understand how to go either lighter or heavier into position sizes. So this is something that I feel like every trade is very simple to understand, very simple to see, and it makes it much easier to understand which trades are high quality trade and which trades should you maybe go heavier in and which trades should you go lighter in. For example, this trade you can go heavier in because you're like, hey, I'm checklisting everything. It's a 13 out of 13. What else am I looking for? Really nothing else. So you can be like, hey, I'm gonna go a little heavier into this trade. Because not all trades, it's a myth. It's like, hey, you should always have the same position size. You should not always have the same position size because not every trade, not every trade is the same quality setup. If you cannot tell me you can find an A plus setup, a 13 out of 13 setup every single day in the markets. For example, if we go to yesterday, right? We go to yesterday's the trade that we took on yesterday. Right, this trade, they ended up hitting 2 PTs and then ended up stopping us out. We actually were out even before, like we ended up closing it just right here because it was so sideways. But like, look at this trade. This trade the market was sideways from 9:30 all the way till 3 p.m. So you cannot tell me that you can find an A plus setup in there because it's not real, right? So make sure that whenever you look for your trades, understand where the market you're in and how to look for those high quality setups. I hope this video helped. I hope that checklist helped. Make sure you build your own checklist with your own rules. As well, of course, make sure you subscribe down below, leave a like, comment, and get into the group. And always, peace.